brothers Wiss. The brothers Wiss, brothers Wiss. The brothers Wiss. The brothers.
You're now listening to Greg. It's the brothers Wiss. Let's take them.
Hey guys, this is the last day of the wireless portion of Wispapalooza 2018. And here we are with Tasos from RF Elements.
How's it going, everybody?
So I guess, well, we'll come back to that later. You have some funny looking things in front of you here.
Yeah. This is our new asymmetrical horn antenna. Basically, we have three new versions. We have a 30 degree, a 60 degree, and a 90 degree asymmetrical horn antenna. What's changed from our previous antennas is actually the shape of the beam. It's asymmetrical in shape, so it's more of an oval. So the 30 degree asymmetrical horn is now 30 degrees wide on the azimuth and 25 degrees tall on the elevation. The 60 degree asymmetrical horn is 60 degrees wide but 20 degrees tall in elevation. And then the 90 degree horn, asymmetrical horn, is 90 degrees wide with 25 degrees of elevation. So you get this elliptical, more sector looking type radiation pattern with much more gain than some other ones. So the 30 degree is now 20.5 dBi of gain. The 60 degree is 18 dBi of gain. And now our 90 degree asymmetrical horn is 16 dBi of gain. So this is really, for a part of the user base out there that wasn't into the high density installs and needed wider coverage areas where they have lower densities of subscribers with the added gain for range. So we finally brought again the asymmetrical beam pattern to horn antenna technology.
So then, to kind of go along with some other themes I've heard from RF Elements lately, so you were the first to come out with horn antennas in this space.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's the big misunderstanding, misconceptions that people think. What we're trying to say is we invented horns, right? Everybody knows horns have been a long time. But what we did is we re-innovated, we re-energized this older technology because we realized this is the type of antenna patterns and antenna performance that's needed in the current wireless environment. These higher MCS rates require much better signal quality, and the horn antennas, and not just any horn antenna, there's specific types of horn antennas, and these ones are the ones that deliver the best type of performance.
There have been some others that have come out with horns this week. Others have had horns for a few months or a year or two. I don't remember. And the radiation patterns on your horns look perfect.
Thank you.
And the other ones, one of the other manufacturers had some that were also asymmetrical. So you're not the first to bring them asymmetrical to this space. But those ones, the patterns weren't quite so pretty.
Exactly.
What are yours like?
Yeah, so ours are actually symmetrical in that standpoint. So when you create an asymmetrical horn, it's very difficult to actually have the vertical and the horizontal beam pattern be nearly identical to each other, right? So if you look at some other technologies that are out there, and this is even in patch array sectors, right? I mean, it's again another big misconception about the uniformity of their patterns. The vertical and horizontal beam form typically don't match. They're not very similar, right? Now our symmetrical horn antennas are practically identical, but in the asymmetrical they're extremely close. Much better performance than any other version out there for sure. And we can show you. Let me see some of the differences, right? So because there's symmetry, right, in the vertical and horizontal beam form of our antenna, we can show you it in 3D with a single pattern because there's really very little delta between the vertical and horizontal. But with competing antennas out there, you see that the horizontal and the vertical are very misshaped, right? And they're not closely matched. So this is where you get your chain-to-chain performance issues and everything else. So our antenna puts out a very clean, very uniform beam pattern. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And so as the strictness for SNR has become more important with higher and higher MCS rates, it's become more important to have matched vertical and horizontal signal levels.
Absolutely.
If your antenna isn't sending them out matched, how are you going to receive them matched?
That's exactly the case, right? And again, something that, a lot of what RF Elements does isn't about just creating a great antenna, but it's also educating the user base, right? So we want to go out there and arm the user base with the information so that way they know how things work. Yeah, and chain mismatch is a huge problem,
And so then, to go to something less about the performance of the antenna itself, you have a handle.
Uh-huh.
It actually looks kind of like a knife handle a little
It does,
bit.
yeah.
And a hook.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't count the number of times when I'm having to, take a lanyard or something and like wrapping it around the device that I have and hooking it through the mount, which I need to attach to the tower.
Right.
This looks incredibly more useful.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of things that go into consideration for everything that we do, and the mechanical design, right, the usability, the user experience is quite important for us as well. So yes, so not only do you have a well-balanced handle, so that way it feels comfortable when you have to carry it physically, but then we give you the lanyard location so that way it's easy and still balanced when you pull it up the tower.
Oh, I didn't realize the balancedness, but that's
Yeah,
I mean, it makes it a lot easier.
It's the little things, right? It's the little things that sometimes make a big difference. And like all of our twist port antennas, we have the proprietary twist port mechanism on them as well. So all the radios and all the adapters that are currently supported with our previous antennas are still 100% compatible with these antennas, so nothing changes there.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's then going. I got a couple things going in this other direction here. So I traditionally have not used some of your horns because of a lack of a couple features.
Mm-hmm.
But then one thing I didn't even realize was different on this platform versus the old one until just now, is that the old one, the whole mounting mechanism, this looks to be much more like your ultra horn type mount.
Actually, yeah, the Ultra Dish. So again, you can see there's a sizable difference in not just the physical size, but also the weight of it. So it required a more robust mounting mechanism, right? So we felt it was appropriate to use the one in our Ultra Dish for point-to-point in this form factor. So yeah.
Yet I've seen manufacturers try to develop, well, usually on CPEs, but mounts that where you can mount the mount to the structure before you work with the antenna, and they're always cumbersome.
Yeah.
This does not appear to be cumbersome.
Yeah, again, that's all part of the design as well, right, for usability, right? So you can actually leave the antenna on the rope with the carabiner down at the bottom of the tower, as an example, and all you really have to bring is the mount up to the tower, and it's nothing but 2 bolts. One tool is all you need, right? So it makes it very simple. We don't have all these complicated, long, threaded screws and bolts with washers and nuts and all this other stuff. So it's very, very easy. And in fact, if you put the first bolt in, then really it's only 1 bolt to mount it. So once it's secured, you kind of have it where it's supposed to be, then you could bring up your antenna and just drop it in. So I mean, a lot of tower climbers, you climb by yourself, right? You only got 2 hands. We make it really easy to assemble our products as well.
Something else I seen all these yesterday, but I keep finding more things I hadn't realized.
Yeah.
So lots of times, pipe mounts for a small pipe,
Absolutely.
people end up turning the bracket backwards just to make it work. Yours looks like it was meant to be able to do that, not just bending the pipe the wrong way.
Exactly. So it's been specifically designed for that. So if you have a large diameter pipe, then you would just flip this around so you get this bigger surface area for wider poles. And if you use a narrower pole to mount, then you flip it as you see it right here, and this decreases that space and allows you to attach to about half inch pipe.
Oh,
so
wow.
like a Roan 25 or something like that. Somewhere in that is the minimum size.
And it looks like it would still be robust on a small pipe.
Absolutely, yeah, most certainly.
And to kind of segue into another thing that why I haven't usually used your excuse me, yours, is that you seem to have something new on the back here.
So I mean, I'd love to take you for a tour here and show you all the new stuff that we have.
Sure.
So one of the new products is our connectorized twist port adapter. So this is something specifically you've been asking for a long time. Actually, I think you gave us an award for something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So now, if we don't have a twist port adapter for the specific radio you want to use because maybe it's too big or too bulky or something like that, we have the connectorized twist port adapter just for that. So you hook up your LMR to it, and now you could use it with really any other radio on the market.
Yeah, I've got some antennas that, or some radios that that were just not appropriate for your old style,
exactly,
due to their size.
Exactly. So now we address those. Another one of our newer releases is the twist port adapter. It's called a PAF, P-A-F, and it stands for Prism Air Fiber. So we created now a new adapter that accommodates two different types of radios. So whether you're using the Air Prism from Ubiquiti or the Air Fiber, you have one adapter for both. So you still get that same easy click in and insert, but we've also incorporated into the top a place for the GPS antenna, which is really important. So a lot of the feedback that we get from our customers, we actually implement them into our products. And one of the biggest problems was not having a good place to mount it, with not having a magnet or something like that where you're going to mount the actual GPS antenna, but also birds and other animals chewing on the cables and destroying them, right? So this is the new standard now. We just hide it up inside there and you're good to go.
So perhaps the most innovative thing you've just mentioned here is manufacturers that listen to their customers.
I mean, I say it all the time, right? I mean, really, you guys, the user base, is what's really creating it, right? So we choose to not alienate, our user base, and instead we embrace them. So a lot of the unique, cool features that you see, like this, is from feedback from you guys.
Sure. And just for those wondering how I just told him that he listens to us, and yet I've been complaining all the time about lack of a product. I had rumors of the product many years ago. It was just different reasons, and so
sure.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
It was mostly just giving them crap.
Yeah. Well, you're good at that.
Yeah.
So then another one here. So one of the newer radio platforms from Ubiquiti is the Prism station and then the ISO station. So this is their kind of waveguide fed based radio platform where we think the future is, right, where it's going. So they have their own proprietary mechanism and orifice, right? So we created an adapter, the ISO adapter for it, that you put this on, and now it basically converts their waveguide to our waveguide. So you could use these radio platforms with our antennas as well.
Nice. So I've been hearing from people as they start to see more manufacturers come out with not designs that you invented, but designs that you reintroduced to the market.
Sure.
Repurposed for this market.
Absolutely.
That people talk about the other companies copying you.
I mean, I wouldn't call it copying, right? I mean, look, this industry needs some major change, and we're looking to bring that change to the market, right? It's no longer acceptable to just create the products that the user base thinks they need, right? Or to carry on these false impressions of how things work, right? Major change is needed, and we're bringing that. Waveguide, we believe, is the future, right? As the radios get more and more complex in their modulation rates, you need more and more efficient transmitting mediums, right? And we believe that the waveguide fed is the best thing. Pigtails and patch array sectors are old technology. Waveguides and horns are the future, period.
And they seem much simpler and have performance advantage.
It's very robust. So we're proud to be the leader, and we're okay with people following our lead. It needs to happen, because if it doesn't happen, there's not going to be an industry for us to actually create antennas for, right? So
Sure.
this needs to happen. We're happy just to be the leader, though.
Sure,
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
And so then I also heard that a couple nights ago, relating to this vision that you've had, somebody gave you something?
Yeah, so I won the Visionary Award. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm incredibly humbled by that. Of course,
It's the first I've seen a humble Tasos.
Yeah, I'm always humble. You know that. You know that. Of course, it wasn't my vision to say, hey, let's make horn antennas, let's go waveguide. That's the vision of the company and the founders and stuff like that. But, you know, I also have a vision that correlates to how we need to treat the market, how we need to interact with the market, right? Again, bringing something different. It's not just about a simple product. It's not just about gain, right? It's not just
Sure.
about beam angle. It's not just about modulation rate. It's about the whole system needs to be healthy, right? So I believe my approach in educating the user base, being the person that's doing most of the speaking to people and educating them and showing them how these things work and what things are better, that's my vision, right?
Sure.
So, and I'm more than humbled to have received that award. It feels great.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anything else you got to talk about, or is this about wrap it up?
Well, I think this is about it on the newest technology. Again, you know, we're just getting started.
Sure.
We're just getting started. Our roadmap, again, is full of new innovative products, and you're going to see more and more great things come here in the future.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks.
Sounds good. Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, man.
So do I. Thank you.
Greg, it's the Brothers Wisp. Let's take a ride through space on this mothership. Wireless networking. We talk about equipment and methodology, so sit back and start learning. Lighten up the tower so people can start searching. Shooting up the web in neighborhoods, net surfing. We got horrible jokes, we're loud and annoying, but we're informative facts, we're not disappointing. Just give us a listen, cause fun is the mission. I'm telling you, you don't know what you are missing. Ideas and some good comedy given. If you missed the show already, don't worry, you're forgiven.